Well, let's go through your contract. This is your agreement with Stiefel and KBW for your separation, correct?
Yes.
This is what the version you produced in Discovery, correct?
This is what I had, so yes, I produced everything that I had.
And this is incomplete because it is missing the last page, correct?
Yes.
And that's what's missing, Schedule C, right?
Yes.
And then let's look at the 7th whereas clause. That says, whereas in connection with Benett's employment, he executed a certain promissory note in the original principal amount of $1,050,000. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
My question was, did you tell anyone at the bank that you had a promissory note
I do not believe I did.
KBW for $1,050,000?
I do not believe I did.
And did you tell anyone at the bank that the outstanding principal balance on that promissory note was $630,000?
I do not recall whether I had a discussion that my stock would whether or not my prior stock would be vested upon my resignation.
That's not my question, sir. My question is, did you tell anyone at the bank that the outstanding principal balance on the promissory note was $630,000?
I don't believe I did.
Mr. Bennett, turn to page 2, please.
Page what?
Page 2 of your agreement. Paragraph 1A. It states the company will forgive $630,000 of the principal balance of the note within 30 days of termination as long as Benett executes and does not exercise his right to revoke the agreement. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Did you inform anyone at the bank that KBW had agreed to forgive $630,000 of the principal balance of the note?
I don't believe I did.
Why not?
I didn't consider my deferred compensation as a component. This is stock that I'd had for years and very traditional and standard in the investment banking world.
You didn't think it was important for the bank to know that you had a promissory note with a $630,000 balance to the bank's investment banker?
I don't recall when I joined KBW if I had a conversation with Mr. Grosvenor about the details of my joining there. I don't recall.
That wasn't
But
my
it's
question.
but
My
it's-
question is, did you think it was important for the bank to know that you had a promissory note for $630,000 balance to the bank's investment bank?
No.
You did not think it was important for the bank to know that?
I don't think, no, I guess not.
Keep that one there. Let's have you look at the agreement with Schedule C. Mr. Bennett, I'm handing you Exhibit 219, which is a confidential separation agreement that you had with KBW.
Yes, sir.
Same agreement, sir, correct?
Yes, sir.
This one has the last page, Schedule C.
Yes.
Schedule C defines the transactions for which you could receive compensation, correct?
For which I may potentially receive compensation, correct.
Does Schedule C define what compensation you would receive for deals closed by KBW? Yes or no?
Partly, yes.
Well, partly. Let's go through the contract. Page 3 of the contract.
Well, I don't understand the term contract. Somebody,
You don't understand the term contract?
well, I'm not a lawyer,
Okay.
but Schedule C.
I don't want to confuse you, so have a look at page 3 of the document in front of you, the confidential separation and release agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Top of the page, paragraph C. on or about January 31, 2017, Benett will receive a cash payment equivalent. The equivalent will be equal to net revenue to investment banking received by the company between January 1, 2016 and December 31, 2016, that's after you left, multiplied by the Benett attribution, multiplied by the Benett payout as indicated on Schedule C. Correct?
Yes.
So this, or I don't want to confuse you, this agreement said that you would be paid cash based on the numbers on Schedule C, correct?
That's what it states, correct.
So Schedule C defines how much you're going to be paid, right?
Correct.
You ended up getting a $375,000 bonus, correct?
That is correct.
Did you ever give the agreement, this agreement, to anybody at the bank?
No, I don't believe I did.
Did you ever give Schedule C to anybody at the bank?
No, I don't believe I did.
Did you ever tell anybody at the bank that Schedule C said you would receive payment for the Banc of California deal?
No, I didn't.
Let's go to Schedule C and let's have a look at the mandated deals. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
The third one down says the Banc of California sell side deal 2016. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
And so in that deal, according to the schedule, the Benett attribution is 40% and the Benett payout is 20%, correct?
I see that as well, yes, sir.
Did you ever tell anybody at the bank that Schedule C said you would receive payment for the Banc of California deal?
No, I did not.
Let's go to Schedule C and let's have a look at the mandated deals. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
The third one down says the Banc of California sell side deal 2016. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
And so in that deal, according to the schedule, the Benett attribution is 40% and the Benett payout is 20%, correct?
I see that as well, yes, sir.
Did you ever tell anybody at the bank that Schedule C said you would receive payment for the Banc of California deal?
No, I did not.
Let's go to Schedule C and let's have a look at the mandated deals. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
The third one down says the Banc of California sell side deal 2016. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
And so in that deal, according to the schedule, the Benett attribution is 40% and the Benett payout is 20%, correct?
I see that as well, yes, sir.
According to page 3 of the contract, it says that you would receive cash equal to the KBW fee multiplied by the Benett attribution multiplied by the Benett payout. That's what your agreement says, right?
That is what it says.
Isn't it a fact that you had a history at KBW of wanting to get credit for Banc of California deals but not having it show up on any document?
No.
Mr. Benett, you have before you Exhibit 326, which is an email from you to Peter Worth. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
In the last paragraph, you say, also not a bad payday on Banc. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Banc had paid KBW a large fee on that day, correct?
I don't know what the fee was.
You say not a bad payday on Banc I am okay being left off the transaction announcement, but hope folks realize that is not the real story. Didn't your prior representations to Banc say that you didn't work on KBW transactions?
I did not work on KBW transactions. Helping KBW and Banc of California build a better relationship does not mean I worked on specific transactions, nor does it mean I was compensated on those transactions.
Well, this says, not a bad payday for Banc. I'm okay being left off the transaction announcement, but you hope folks realize that's not the real story. The real story, I assume you're referring to, is being left off the transaction announcement.
No, you're assuming incorrect.
Well, what is does real story have anything to do with the beginning of that sentence, the transaction announcement?
The real story is that I was helpful in the relationship between the two firms, and that is what I intended, and that is what I meant by that statement. There were several people within KBW who said that they thought they had a wonderful relationship with the company, and nothing I could do would help.
In the Banc's 10K from that year, it shows that KBW had received a $1 million fee on this date. Let's go to what you got paid on 2017, sir. If you could bring the schedule up before you, the $354,000. Do you have that document in front of you?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Exhibit 322 has the schedule that you testified about earlier. I'm going to hand you another exhibit now, sir.
This will be Exhibit 327.
Exhibit 327 is an email from Caroline Cameron at KBW to you and Peter Worth. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
It says, hi Hal, hope all's well. I spoke to Peter and want to confirm with you that you should receive a payment of $375,000. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
All right. The Hanmi Bank transaction, according to the 10K, KBW was paid $516,000.
Okay.
All right. The Benett attribution, 40%, and the Benett percentage, 20%, together times $516,000 would amount to $41,000.
Okay.
And if you add $41,000 to $324,000, you get exactly $375,000 as reflected on Exhibit 327, correct?
Well, the math I really don't care about. I was paid on these deals and no other deals.
Mr. Benett, I'm handing you a spreadsheet that I prepared with a calculation. It shows the bonus, $354 at the top, taking out Gertchen, which is not on Exhibit C, revised $334, then it calculates the Hanmi Bank deal by the Benett attribution, Benett payout, and it equals exactly $375. So isn't it a fact that the $375,000 payment you had included a payment for the Hanmi Bank deal?
No, it is
Hold
not.
on.
Your answer is no, it does not?
It does not.
Isn't it a fact that you and KBW arranged to have no paper trail on the fact that you would be paid for the Hanmi Bank deal?
Absolutely not.
Why'd you destroy Schedule C?
He didn't say he destroyed Schedule C, counsel.
Did you destroy Schedule C?
No, I did not.
We've seen multiple emails of you negotiating with KBW about your bonus. Why wasn't it important for you to keep Schedule C if that defines how you're going to get paid?
Asked and answered so many times.
And not in one of those emails that I mentioned Banc of California Hanmi. Yes, and not any of those emails that I ever mentioned a fee for Banc of
Well,
California
that's
or Hanmi.
because you didn't want it on the emails. Isn't that true, sir?
No, it is not.
You had stated earlier in another email that you didn't want to be listed on the transaction amount, but you know that's not the real story.
I
isn't
do
it?
know that's
That's
the real story.
mischaracterizes the document.
I've
Well, you
answered
didn't
the-
want to have any document trail over the payment for Hanmi Bank, right? Bank is representing you today, right?
Bank is
Bank's
represented.
lawyer is representing you today, right?
Counsel, at the beginning, I'm going to address it. I said at the beginning I represent Bank California and the witness.
Your lawyer, your personal lawyer, as you sit here today, also represents Banc of California, correct?
That is correct.
Did you in fact read the corporate governance and company's code of conduct like Mr. Sugarman had requested?
Every line, probably not, no.
Company's code of ethics, code of business conduct and ethics, do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Let's go to the page 5, paragraph 2.5. Bottom 2 sentences. Directors should also seek to avoid any compensation or financial arrangements with any person or entity that could reasonably be expected to impact their ability to independently make decisions in the interests of all corporate stockholders, or which otherwise might influence their decisions. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Any arrangement that could pose these issues must promptly be disclosed in full to the board of directors. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Did you disclose Schedule C to the full board?
Asked and answered.
I don't, the answer is no, and as I said, the only item on there that would be Banc of California, which was on there by a mistake and an oversight, and so, of which I did not get paid on.
Let's go to the next page. You see 2.7, outside activities? All right. Look at the paragraph before that. Directors, officers, and employees and members of their immediate families should never borrow personally from customers or suppliers unless these entities are engaged directly in the lending business. And then only under normal conditions with respect to interest rate terms, security, and repayment that are available. Do you see that? You had a loan of $1 million, a personal note from KBW, right?
I don't believe it was a loan. It was deferred compensation. That's how they structure their deferred compensation.
They called it a promissory note in the agreement with you. You believe you didn't violate the code of conduct with that $1 million loan from KBW?
I did not take a loan.
All right. My question was, don't you think the corporate governance guidelines are important to know? You didn't really answer my question, did you, sir? So I don't want you to answer questions that I don't ask. Just answer my question. My question was, do you think the corporate governance guidelines are important for a director to know?
Generally, yes. Every single line item? No.
You don't
Not-
think it's important to know every line?
I think
item?
I think it's important to know the general tenor, but not every single line in a 500-page document. I don't think anyone would remember all of those.
Did you ever tell anybody at the bank that Schedule C said you would receive payment for the Banc of California deal?
No, I did not.
Let's go to Schedule C and let's have a look at the mandated deals. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
The third one down says the Banc of California sell side deal 2016. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
And so in that deal, according to the schedule, the Benett attribution is 40% and the Benett payout is 20%, correct?
I see that as well. Yes, sir.
According to page 3 of the contract, it says that you would receive cash equal to the KBW fee multiplied by the Benett attribution multiplied by the Benett payout. That's what your agreement says, right?
That is what it says.